Hi, Karla.
Hi, Lee. How are you?
Good. You've been coordinating the logistics for the Journey for Justice. Can you give people some idea of what a typical day is going to look like if they're on the journey?
Yeah. From a overall schedule standpoint, I think the key thing to remember about the time of year we're traveling is the days are relatively short. So we'll be starting fairly early each morning. Some days at sunrise, not every day at sunrise, but we'll be generally getting a pretty early start on the day. And then we'll be at our next locate. We'll stop. We'll make some stops along the way. Some days we have up to two stops on the day. Other days we only have one stop, and then we'll get to our evening point on the journey, with our goal to always be arriving at our stopping point for the day at least an hour before sunset. So those people who are camping or tenting have some time to set up while there's still some light.
And you say stops. What's going to be happening at each of these stops?
So that varies depending on the dynamics of that stop, where it is, what's happening there. We've got what I'll call three, actually four kind of major stops. Our starting point in Brownsville, um, our midpoint of the trip in El Paso, where we'll spend actually 2 nights in that area. We are going to spend 2 nights in the Nogales area, so we'll have a full day of activity in Nogales, and then our ending point in San Isidro and San Diego area. So there'll be sort of bigger actions and activities going on in those four places, and then in between, we'll have what I'll call sort of shorter stops. Typically 2 to 3 hours, where we might cross over the border. We might do something like stop at the Butterfly Center and light a candle in memory of a migrant who's been shot. We'll do something appropriate for each border crossing that we encounter along
You
the.
you mentioned crossing. Some people might have concerns about safety and might not want to cross. Does that work okay if they don't want to cross into the Mexico?
Absolutely. There, at any of the places that we do choose to, or there is an option to cross, that is exactly that, an option. Not everybody has to cross. And we will only be crossing in those places where we feel like it's safe to do so. And we will travel as a group. But any person uncomfortable with that does not have to cross.
And as I understand it, some people will be going the whole 2,000 miles. Other people will be jumping in just for a day or a few days. Am I right about that?
Correct. Yes.
And how are people traveling? What kind of vehicles?
So we have everything from people joining in their own cars or vans. I know there's some people who have made arrangements to rent cars, and we have a few people that are coming with their campers, either an all enclosed camper, or there are a couple people who are pulling their trailers behind them.
If someone's looking to share a ride, are you able to help them coordinate that in any way?
We can try to put them in touch with somebody who has room in their vehicle. We're collecting that information from people as they sign up. We're asking if they're driving their own vehicle, if they have room for somebody to join them. And we're also asking people if they need a ride. So we will be trying to, as much as we can, facilitate that matching up of people.
What kind of weather do we expect on the border?
It can be varied. Remember it is December. It is a lot of the area that we're traveling is desert, so it will be cool at night. Generally warms up in the day. We can expect probably some windy days. It'll be all over the map. I traveling to the border, I generally think in terms of clothing, packing layers. Things that I can be bundled up in the morning when it's cool, but then I can shed a couple of layers as it warms up in the afternoon, but then put them back on as the sun sets.
If people are interested, how can they get more information?
They can go to our website, witnessattheborder.org. There are links there to complete the forms to sign up, and then we'll get them on the email lists where we're regularly sending out information about the journey. They can go to our Facebook page, our Facebook group. Those are the two best ways to find more information.
Thanks, Karla.
Thank you, Lee.